Okay.
How much my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes.
So, good evening and good morning, everyone. So, it's MagaVigna from Sayur Institute of Technology. Currently, I'm pursuing third year in undergraduate BTech Computer Science and Business Systems. So, today my project's title is DietPal. It's like a web application used to track calories. That's the main objective of my project. It's used to track calories and used to plot this as a graph so you can see your progress. So that's first of all why I decided to name it as a diet ball. It's most like everyone knows like Paul means friends, so it will be a friendly diet buddy. So I decided to name it as a diet ball. So let me get into my agenda. So today I plan to first describe about my problem statement, then a little bit about my application, then the tech stack I used to develop this application, and then show you all a demo, then answer your questions hopefully. So first of all, the problem statement, like 2020 was a great year for all of us, and everybody what like locked in the home. But the main thing we got out of it was like health consciousness. இப்போ நிறைய பேத்துக்கு நம்மளே இது பண்ணும்போது தெரியும் வீட்டில் இருக்கும் போதே நம்ம சாப்பிடும் போதோ இது பண்ணும்போது வெயிட் கூட ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டோம் வீட்டிலே இருந்து எந்த வேலையும் பார்க்க முடியாதனால வெயிட் கூட ஆரம்பிச்சோம் ஸோ வி பிகேம் ஹெல்த் கான்சியஸ்னஸ் ஸோ மெனி டயட் ஆப்ஸ் and nutrition apps start to like hit the market at a very high rate and even the statistics have proved that 2020 was a great opportunity for like diet apps. So the first why I decided to start like diet application was like my best friend in college. I have a best friend in college. She's like suffering from obesity from like since she was a child. So I literally want to create something for her. So I decided to choose this side of project for my application. So first of all, I constructed her like what do you want in an application if you want to like create a diet app. So the two things she said to me was like she wanted to know what she eats and wanted to know how much calories she eats. So that the main two thing I have like applied into my project. And the main thing you want to know if you want to keep a diet track is how much you calories you intake. So you can know about like if you are going in a right path or like you're sliding down in a diet plan. So this is like application just to maintain your calories. That's pretty much about my problem statement. So next of all, I would like to explain about my product, like DietPal, how it works. So in this application, first the user can open the application and log in or like sign in, and the user could be like like presented with a set of options. Uh, like I said, it's like has main two objectives like track calories and know about your food. And the user is presented the options, and the user can select what they can do in the day. And the first option is provided to the user is like adding food option. For that option, I created like a database and store some kind of food and equivalent calories. So the user can select from the list of items provided from my database, and they can add it to their diary like substance. So I can keep track of their calories. Next main part of my application is like I told is a graph feature. Every time they enter the details about their food, I will just calculate their calories in the backend and store it in my database. And whenever the user wants to see how much they have intaken the calorie, I could show them the graph about how much calories they have intaken. Uh, I also added another feature like using an API. Using that API only, I can show the details about food. There are many diet plans which involves like low fat or low carbs, but we don't know what food has low fat or if like high fat. So I have used the API called Edamame and implemented in my application to know about more, so that the user can know more about their food. And finally, user can log out of application. This is like the workflow of my DietPal application. The tech stack I used is for client side HTML and JavaScript, for server side Flask, and for database, of course, MySQL. Before going to demo, I want to talk about what did I learn during this project or during while I developed this project. Never worked in a practical project like this before, or entire my lifetime I never worked in this project. So when I start from the scratch, I was like really scared if I'm going to finish this or like if we come out like I wanted. But my mentor was Kannan sir. He was like really motivating for me to like proceed with the application. and just a little bit progress, he would encourage me to do it. The first thing I learned well in this project is like how to use Google efficiently. And the website Stack Overflow was literally became my bench friend toward this project. It has every doubt and every error cleared in this. Chitramam used to say that if you are getting an error, you are not the first one is getting an error. So if you get an error, just go and Google it and learn how to rectify it. That's the biggest outcome of like what I got out of this doing this project. Every time I get a single error, I used to get frustrated. Why am I getting this error? And then eventually, when I get this error, okay, I can cure this. I came into that mindset. So this project also taught me patience more than like technical terms. So I've never learned HTML or Python or SQL throughout my life. I start from the scratch, and first thing I learned was HTML and little bit of CSS to make my application look more friendly. And then I learned to use API. We just had little bit classes of API, but I learned how to use them so I could implement into my application. It was like a main highlight point of my application. So I really wanted to learn what is API and what API I wanted to use and how to use. So that's a little bit of like my project, what I learned, what outcomes of this project for me. So then I would like to get into my demo. This is my application's homepage, like home screen. So I like did first when I designed this homepage, I really wanted to add a highlighting quote into this application, and this really catched my breath. Dieting is the only game where you win when you lose. It's said by Karl Lagerfeld, so I really wanted to highlight in my application. So in the homepage, I provided it with two options: sign up and login. And sign up page, the user can give their name. For example, I'm for demonstrating, I'm just giving it a sample. An age 14, weight 40, height 150, date of birth, gender, username, Sam, password into three. And if I give submit, it just transfer into a login page. And in login page, I could log in with the ID I have signed up to it. But I would like to use another ID, Maga, because I like stored many of the food details, so it will be easy for me to demonstrate it to you guys. So after the login page, submit. I think I am struggling with the error here. Let me try it before presenting. I've been getting this error throughout this project. It's like my SQL connector is not connecting well with the server. Let me run this application again. So this is like next second home screen to my page. In this page is where I provided the users with the options which the users can select from. So the first option I'm provided with is add food. So if I click in the add food page, the user can give the date in which they consume the food and the food type like breakfast, lunch, fruits or vegetables. I'm going to choose breakfast and the food name is the options are limited because that's all I have in my database. Like this is my database screenshot. I have like more than two tables, but this is tables I want to show you. The first table is like ID and food type, like breakfast, lunch, and fruits. These are the contents that had in the first drop down box. So the second one is like I will just store the food name and calories, and I corresponded normalize the table with the food type ID, so I could know about its breakfast, lunch, or fruits. So if coming back to my application, if I choose puppet and I can also add a quantity like if I give dosa or idli, I can just add like one, two, or three. And if I give submit, it just gets added into my database in the backend. Or in many cases, if I want to add some food that is not in my database, I also provide a user with an additional feature in which they can add their own food. Like in food name, homemade juice or something. and I just can give the calories and the food type. And if I give add, it just get stored in my database. So I could go back and add the food that I have already given. Homemade juice. I can give the quantity and the date. And the details will be added to my database in which I keep track of the user's calories. This is like one of my options. So next option is like see your progress. This is the part where all the users calorie index details get stored in the database and is shown as a graph to the user. So he or she can track of how much they ate in a day. So 15 January, I ate for like 350 calories. So if a person is like on diet, the most important thing they need is to know about their calories. So it's easy for them to look if it's more like in the graph form instead of a tabular form. So I went to the graph form. So the next other feature is know about your food. Like I said, the two important part of the diet is knowing about your food and just learning about your amount of calories intake. So by knowing about your food, like I mean that I used the API for this part of my project. And the API used is called edamame. There are like different forms of API in them. The main part I used is like a recipe API in which they have like every type of health labels or diet labels. The main thing I used here is the image and the health diet label from their API. So if I click here, I could search for a food. If I could like search for coffee, I'm provided with the coffee's name and the image of it, and it's low sodium. Or Turkish coffee, it's low fat or low sodium. By this preference, I can like decide my diet plan. So that's the reason I have like constructed this. So that's all about my project's demo. For if after finishing off, I can just sign out and just come back to my home page. So does anybody have any questions to ask me?
Good job, very good presentation, MagaVigna. So, yeah,
Thank
please
you.
feel free to ask your questions.
So
And
I'll start off. So as Chitra said, this is fantastic. I know there is so much room for improvement. You can go get more. Your database can grow. You can add more help. You can give some tips. You can also add how much water they're drinking. You can keep track of how much calories they're burning, and you can keep track of not just quantity. You can see how many grams they're consuming. So you can actually build. You have a very good structure. Okay, and I really liked the beginning statement that when you you mentioned your problem statement, you associated that with the personal touch, like how your friend was suffering from this, and that's how you came to build this app. you know there are so many apps available, but still you wanted to do this for your friend. So great personal touch. And besides your the error that was thrown at you as you said, you learned in this process not to get frustrated. So I could see that you weren't frustrated. You could overcome that. And you were quite patient enough, and you were not shy to feel, oh my god, I just got this error in front of the audience. So these are all the good points. And I see that your English is also quite good. um, you're able to articulate what you're trying to present, what you're trying to show. You can also, if you want to build on this, I think it's a great platform. You can build on this app and make it big. Start off with giving it to your family and friends first, and then see if it is marketable. So very well done. Now I want to ask. So you said, Maha, that you are in your third year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You've just got into your third year, is it?
No, ma'am. Completed a semester, ma'am, in my events, ma'am.
So you are in your fifth semester completed. Now you're in your sixth semester. So you have another year to go.
Yes, ma'am.
So what kind of languages are you learning in your university?
So I'm really interested in web programming, ma'am. So I would like continue learning in HTML and just move on into React, ma'am. I'm
Is
more like building into client side and more not into server side, ma'am. So I just wanted to learn more about React from this project. I want to build this project more on React, ma'am.
Perfect. So what else is there in your sixth and seventh, eighth semester? What kind of um, languages or exposure will you be getting? Will you have some project to do in your final semester, or will you still be studying in the uni itself?
In this semester, we have a subject called as product development, ma'am. For that, we are just like to develop a prototype or like a mini product or something. For that, I'm thinking about going to IoT. So I may learn something like embedded programs for that products. And
Okay.
other than that, if I want to learn about technical language, I should go into my final year for my major project, ma'am.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Have you traveled outside of where you are, Maha? Um,
No, ma'am, not yet, ma'am.
Not
Waiting
yet.
for an opportunity, ma'am.
That's great. So that was my next question, which you answered. So you're not fearing of travel or going to other places outside of which place do you come from?
I'm from Madurai, ma'am.
Madurai. So yeah, Madurai is a big city on its own itself, right? So that should be okay. Good job. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Anybody else have?
I think most of the points been covered, I know, and good job, MagaVigna, right? So she was so assertive, no fear at all in back her mind, and I never felt that, right? So the third year student is giving a demo out here. It's like, we were sitting in the project demo in the corporate world, and good job, keep it up, Maga. And how
So,
you're going to evolve the solution, because a lot of things are happening around IoT, right? So the millennial kids are so passionate about IoT and all apps and all the stuff, right? So good. And thanks for making it out.
thank you, sir.
Okay. And the interest of time, we'll move on. Mahavignath, thanks a lot. And now you can go to the hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
Take care
Thank
of.
you.
Huh? Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I'll see you next week. Next we have Deepika.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, all.
So Deepika, while you were getting ready, really quick. In the meantime, since we did the introductions, we have few other guests join. We have Vijay. Vijay, thanks a lot for joining. If you could introduce yourself for a second.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, hi. Good evening, good morning to everyone across time zones. Yeah, so this is Vijay. I am working as a product manager in Zoho Corporation, Chennai. I'm based out in Chennai actually. So I got to know about the Sayur initiative through one of my colleagues who is a mutual friend of Chitra actually. I was actually intrigued by the idea and I wanted to contribute to some extent to it. So I kind of got connected into it through that way, actually. Thank you. Thanks, Chitra, for actually having me and actually setting up the platform. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. Vijay also does his own mentoring, so he's also doing some great things. And it's a great pleasure to have you here. The students are quite inspired by seeing people from different companies. So thank you. Apro Rajesh Kumar, do you want to introduce Rajesh? And college professor avanga. He's one of the reasons we have these students with us. He's the one I talked to Sayur Engineering College kuda, so he is there. And hello. Okay, maybe he's not. It's on mute. Padu.
Hello everyone. Yeah, I'm Padmanabham here. I'm good old friend of Jitra and a couple of more other mentors here. Since 30 years, I know them. And the moment I know that, Sayur is helping people to actually get industry ready from academics, right? I feel that's a very necessary step for everyone, because ever since I was studying, I always feel that everyone studying should be in the industry, and everyone in this industry should get a academic experience, and vice versa. They should be synced. And this is a very good platform. And we're preparing students to face the industry. And well, yeah, I'm working in the what's called Silicon Valley for the past 25 years, I think. I don't even remember now, a long time. So working as a project engineer, facing customers and solving customers' problems. So my focus is more on solving problems for the customers rather than showing off my technology. So they come first.
Yeah.
So thanks to be on the platform. Yeah.
So Paddu is also a mentor with us, has been a mentor, and will continue for the next batch as well. Okay, I think I covered everybody. Yes, MagaVigna, you can go. You can continue. Did I get everybody?
Deepika, right? Deepika is present.
Deepika, yes, MagaVigna batch. Sorry.
Is it visible now?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Deepika from Sayur Institute of Technology. I'm currently pursuing third year CSVS. And yeah, this is a small intro about myself. And I came through this is because of seeing many accident cases while I'm traveling in a highways and nearby my houses. And when I'm traveling outside, when I'm walking outside, I'll see many glasses clashes is off. And foremost, I need to thank I'm sorry, I didn't thank my teachers and my mentors. Rajesh sir and my HOD was, I need to thank them a lot because they gave me an opportunity. Since I am a bio student, I shouldn't tell this in this state, but I am in the state of telling this. I am a bio student and didn't know about anything rather than a head of files. And when I'm joining my first year, it is full of online due to Corona. And second year, we learn something. And in third year, I got into Sayur. And they all make me to develop a project is very, it is to me a very precious one because I didn't knew anything about it before. And they all my teachers and my mentors who taught me more and make me to do a project. And I am doing a demo session in front of many official peoples here. And I need to thank them a lot. Thank you, Chitra ma'am. Thank you, Kanan sir. And I'm thanking everybody to make me do this. Yeah, thank you all. And I choose this problem statement because I have seen many accident nowadays, and near my colleges also I would see a lot of accident cases. They all will be like riding bikes like jet. They'll be flying off, and many times accident will occur, and their legs will be broken off or their elbows will be clashed. Many things will be happening. The time I will be wondering why these are happening, why the police officials are not here near the college area. Like that, when I'm thinking, and there is an opportunity for doing a project, the time I took this one and I researched it off. When I took this accident cases, the time I'm not having any idea about how to gather a data. I was conversing with my mentors, and the time they told that uh, think of it and do something regarding a name of it, accident cases. So if the accident occurs, a particular patient should be gone to a hospital, and that hospital will give a report that I have an accident case. So it will go to the police officials. So I need to gather information from them both. So I have approached them, and when I'm talking to police officials, they all tell that as a regular only drunken cases is more, and underwriting cases are more nowadays. And I'm very panic about hearing that. I heard that is for tit for tat cases. You have teased me that day, so I'll make you to fall this day. Like this, the youngsters now, the younger 2K kids are doing like these kind of accidents too. So I was thinking, so let me create a common website for both of them to access it, both for police officials as well as for the doctors. When they're accessing it both, the doctors may enter their data and police can view it. So when the police are viewing the data, where the accidents are happening more, if in Madurai, a particular area called Annanagar, in that side, many cases are there for being noted as an accident cases, then that zone, that Annanagar accident zone, can be noted and being monitored with a lot of attentions. So if the particular place is monitoring a lot, the time the case may reduce. I thought like that, and it will sure. When the police officials are there, they cannot ride their bike too fast, and as well as if they are drinking also, they may get fined or they may cheese their bikes and so on it is. So when the police officials are there and to make give a awareness that I'm standing here, you cannot cross me, they will have some mind to be go slow or not to attend these kind of cases. And in tech stack, a Flask is being used as a backend for connecting a server, and for database, MySQL, and client side, HTML and CSS, so on. Okay, let's start with the demo. This is my login page. Why this login page is here? Because if a doctor is coming on login, they can log in with their username and password, with their professions too. Then they can view that what is going to happen. If they are new people, they are going to register their name and password and mail ID for verification and profession to authenticate them. If the police is going to log in something, they are going to view a data. If a doctor is going to log in a page, then he's going to have a page, a user interface for entering their data. So yeah, I'll be doing for when doctor is signing in, he'll have a user interface like this, and the data's the name of a patient, and which type of accident, and the blood group, emergency phone number, city, area, everything. And when he submit it off, he'll be having these kind of datas like this. If the datas are so visible like this, after entering the data, a police will be viewing the data. The time, I'm sorry, the data will be like this. And when he viewing this in Madurai, Annanagar, no, for them, I mean, for it is for example. So Annanagar is the most accident zone are occurring there. So the police will view this, and they'll have some many police officials there to check it off. When police is logging in, he'll be having like this, and it is just an image view. But when police is logging in and the real way, he'll be having a data like this. So he may view this, and he will give he may give many safety measures in that area, and it will be a very non-accident zones there. That's it about my presentation. Ma'am, I have completed it.
Okay. Yeah, good job, Deepika. Yeah, she started off again, learning everything from scratch. HTML and SQL, how to use Workbench, how to design a table. Everything is, they're learning in this project. So yeah.
So Deepika,
Yes.
I can see your confidence, right? You're quite confident in presenting. So you're thinking quite a few things at the same time, which is good when you go to multitask. I just want to understand from your application, are you expecting everybody, like the police, the doctor, the individual, everybody to have an app like this? So they all log in as as a policeman. I log in, and the data is collected for the policeman, for the doctor, and then just local people. Is it like this? Universal
No,
app?
local people cannot log in it. Uh, Doctor can log in and he or she can enter a data, and the police, they can view a data and they can give us safety measures in that particular area, and they can monitor them by reducing the accident zones.
Okay. So this is mainly for the doctors to enter.
Yes,
So
ma'am,
when they
sure.
get the patients, and this is particularly only for accident cases, not for all this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm sure. Because other cases are very usual and they are focusing on it. But when the accident cases are occurring, the doctors are failing it to do so in some conditions, because if the drunken cases or tit for tat cases, they must give a record to a police that these cases are occurring. When the information need to pass to the police, it is delaying, and police
Correct.
cannot get the information at the up to date at the time.
Correct.
And the patient is suffering from blood loss, many things, and in some cases they are not in the earth. So these should be reduced and all the lives should be saved. That is the main reason for this one.
Okay, I really like the gap that you have identified. It is very unique. I don't think it's not a normal thing to think of such a problem solving thing. So I'm really impressed what you've tapped into. So very good job there. I hope that people use this, because I know we see in cinemas and things like that things get delayed, isn't it? You don't even know
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happened, where it happened. By collecting this data, it will be useful a lot. It will be useful for everybody, in fact, isn't it? So this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
this is quite good. I think you have room for improvement, good opportunity to make this big, and also sell it to all the hospitals in and around. Very good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Deepika Padmanabhan here. So
Yes, sir.
I observed that this is a good start. Like you have really got the important part of the project. The first part is data gathering, and the right people you are supposed to approach to solve your the problem. Right before the problem actually solve the problem, you should know to whom you are solving, and are you talking to the right people. So I understand that you really did go and talk on the floor. I mean, like really talking to some doctors or some police to really figure out your problem statement. So that's good. That's a very good jump start. So solving technically is the second part of the problem. So at first is to understand the problem is very important. That's half done. Even I should say 70% you can solve the problem by understanding the problem. So good, keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
So, Deepika, Vijay here. So, what are the tech components that you use for this project?
Flask for backend, sir, and for client side HTML, and for database MySQL.
Okay. So, you have modeled this form into a table directly, or how is your data modeling in SQL?
Data modeling in SQL is quite delayed, sir. So I have entered it in manual. But when I'm completing this page, it should take to the backend. But
Okay.
that part is failing, so I have entered it in manual.
Okay. So the next page, does it show a list of all these complaints, or how does it work? The UA flow, as per the UA flow.
So I couldn't get you.
Once you submit that form, what
Yes.
are you planning to display there?
If I'm after submitting, it will be saying that data has entered successfully in this page itself.
So
And
it will display here itself. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
logged
So
in
for doctors, you
successful.
will show that list, right?
Yes,
The
yes,
list of all the complaints. Okay. So in presently in MySQL, you have put it manually, right? So you have used this as a single table, or do you have multiple tables used there?
single table, sir. With single
Single
table, let
table.
me
Okay.
show my codes. 1 minute. Yeah, single table called Ax data, and I'm entering it in all there.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah.
Um, Hey,
Thank you, sir.
Deepika, fantastic ideal line, and that matters a lot. And need of an hour at this point in time. I'm not sure how many are aware. The road accidents, right? So the numbers or the I don't know the quantum of accidents happening in India, right? So Tamil Nadu always top on the table,
Yes, sir.
and this we couldn't prevent or we couldn't curtail or trim down because we don't have the data to facilitate these kind of preventive measures across the road safety or anything out here, right? So a fantastic idea line. How you're going to evolve the solutions technically, functionally, that comes much later. Keep up. Good job, Deepika.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Deepika. We'll move on.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aravind. So Aravind has taken a different task and a different technology and everything. So, and I should say that he did everything all by himself, 100% on his own. We just provided some mentoring here and there, but it's all 100% his work. So yeah, go ahead, Aravind.
Hi guys, I'm Aravinth. Hope you can see me. Currently, I'm pursuing my third year graduation in BTech Computer Science and Business Systems in Sayur Institute of Technology. Before I start my project, I had some experience in developing front-end websites and embedded programming such as IoT. And I have completed 2 projects in embedded programming, which is a safety device and healthcare device. So I had interest in developing a web page which helps users as a service page. So I created a chatbot. Let me show you. Ma'am, is my screen is
Coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the chatbot. I named it eBot because the main purpose of this chatbot is to guide you through the government websites. So the government websites or e-service websites are the websites which helps the user to access their data by you access their government related data. So this chatbot can be adapted to any sector. For example, this chatbot can be embedded in MagaVigna's project. For example, they can give the input as vegetables and food items, and they can store it, and it gives the response. So it can adapt to any web page or any sector. First of all, let's see what is a chatbot. When human to human has a conversation, a human can understand it easily. But a work of chatbot is to make the machine understand what human is asking and how to respond to what he asked. Chatbot can be used in various sectors such as e-commerce, marketing, entertainment, etc. There are 2 types of chatbot. The mostly used chatbot is pre-programmed response, where if we ask question only if the question is available in the program, it gives the output, and the other few are natural language input. For example, a user may give the input as with some errors or misspelled words, and the program should understand that the word is misspelled, and the user is asking this, and we should give this output. This is the natural language input. Let's see what is the problem address. There are around 6,800 web services provided by Indian government, but only less than half, which is around 44% is used, so that the other websites are forced to shut down or is deactivated. The reason for this problem, the main reason is according to me, the one of the main reason is it is hard to navigate to the genuine web page. In India, there are a lot of third-party web apps which tries to clone the original web pages to steal the user's data. So users are misdirected and they are confused between the genuine web page and the clone web page. To solve this problem, I'm introducing a chatbot technology which takes the user directly to the web page they seek. So this chatbot helps the user to answer their common questions and navigate to the website they seek. Since the user is directed straight to the web page they seek, they can avoid the third-party websites and some of the ads. Chatbot has many features, but right now this chatbot has only 3 to 4 features, which is common queries, toll-free numbers, bill payments, downloading documents, timings, and maps. Without any further delay, let's jump into the demo. So this is the home page of the chatbot. I'm using this is the stack I used. For the server side, I used Flask, and the data processing is done in the Python. For the front end and the client side, I'm using three technologies: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The basic packages I'm using is Natural Language Toolkit. This helps the machine to understand what the user is asking. For example, I may ask a question which has same meaning, but the formation of the sentence may differ. Natural Language Toolkit Natural Language Toolkit is used to make the machine understand it. Let's see the working of the chatbot, and I'll explain the working. I'm starting the conversation with hi. So it says good to see you again, and I'm asking it, what can you do? So it gives a response that it can guide to the e-service website and answer the question. Now I may change the formation of the question, that is, how can you help me? So it gives another response, but both sentence have the same meaning. So now I want to pay my electricity bill. For example, I need to pay my electricity bill and check my bill status. I can ask the chatbot. So it gives a message with the link that is attached to the message, which take me directly to the page that I can pay my electricity bill and view my bills. So you can avoid all other third-party apps and fake apps which tries to steal your data. So now this is a perfect formation of the sentence. Now let's say I change the formation or misspell the word. Sorry, that's an error. Even though I am misspelling the word electricity, it gives an output which is related to the word electricity. So this is the main purpose of the chatbot. Even the user, when the user misspells the word, the chatbot should understand and relate the questions with the response and answer. That is the demo, and let me explain about the working. So let's say how I am asking the question, how can I pay my electric bill? So there are totally four steps involved in while asking the questions and getting the response. Step 1 is tokenizing the word. The process is simple. The entire sentence is converted into each and individual word, which includes the special characters such as question mark, comma, exclamation mark, etc. And the step 2 is bagging of words. So I may ask the question with the repeated words or the word which have same meaning. So I need to remove the word. So in this case, there's no repeated word. If the word electric and electricity is mentioned one or more, the word will be eliminated. And using natural language processing, I'm removing common grammatical words such as how, can, and I also remove the special character. And now the entire sentence is shortlisted into 3 words: pay, electricity, and bill. Step 3 is lemmatizing the word. Lemmatizing is a process where the word is changed without changing the meaning of the word. For example, the word pay, paying, payable, paid mentions the same word pay. So in this case, the word electric is lemmatized to the word electricity, and the word electricity is prioritized. This prioritization is done separately by another program. Step 4, we are matching the word with the electricity and fetching it from the JSON file. That's it. And let's see what's uniqueness about this chatbot. So since this chatbot does not use any pre-built packages such as Chatterbot, you can use the chatbot for only one purpose. If you are using it for a medical purpose, you can use it only for the medical purpose. So it would be more efficient. There's no need to enter any more data. So adding data will be more simpler and easier. User or anyone who knows to type can just enter the response and a common question, which will be trained and can be used for further process. In this chatbot, I'm using Keras and natural language processing, which is used for machine language, so that you can learn the question. You can make the chatbot learn the questions. Thank you.
Yeah, great, Aravinth. Are there any other questions you can ask other than the bill payment?
Yes, ma'am. For example, if I want to pay some more bills, I can ask, I need to pay my bill. So it gives me all the bill payment availables, and you can navigate through the page where you can, and also it has map embedded in it. So you can ask. You can ask the location, and it gives the map where the office is located with the address. So you can open it and you can see the direction for the next page. That's it.
Yeah, good.
And the chatbot is still in progress, so it is now only trained for 3 or 4 responses. Can be expanded. So right now,
Of course. Yeah, the idea is actually there, isn't it? So you can enhance from there. So I'm quite impressed with the uniqueness and the you guys are like reaching beyond boundaries. So brilliant, very good. The real time problems. It's not like a made up problem, isn't it? These are all real time problems. So I was the other day thinking. Normally, even to fill up something like forget the paying the electricity bill, even to fill up some application, our people don't know to do that. We go and pay some money and get somebody else to fill up an application. So you can probably introduce such things as well within your chatbot and help people. So this is great, Aravind.
thank you.
Your experience shows. Good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Aravind,
Yes, sir.
sorry. Technically, I have a question. Here we have used lematizer and what lematizer? Sorry. What's the first one? Tokenizer. Yeah, tokenizer and lematizer. Like, did you see any other libraries other than these two, like POS Tagger, and you discarded them, or these were the only two that you checked actually?
So first, I thought of doing it in a Chatterbot package, which is a predefined package, where you just need to type, where you just need to import the package and it gives the response. But it is not accurate, sir. So I thought of using a package which gives an accurate response. So I went through a lot, but this was more easier and it can be run on any machine, sir.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm saying, like, I mean, you have a tokenizing is a step, right? Tokenizing is a step. Grouping the words logically is the next step, and the third step is lemmatizing, right? So likewise,
Yes.
you have identified these 3 steps, right? I'm asking,
Yes,
did you study any other steps other than these and chose these 3 steps? Like, I'm asking if you studied like 10 steps and chose these 3 steps specific to this project, or did you Google things that is specific to this project and found only these 3 steps? That was my question actually.
Yes, I googled only these 3 steps because this was easier to understand and implement. So I used these 3 steps. If more
Okay,
available,
good.
I'm ready to use it.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, yeah. There is another one important package in such NLP libraries that's called POS tagger, right? Part of speech tagger. Okay. So what does part of speech tagger does it? It analyzes the sentences and it will say whether a word's a verb or noun or a preposition or something like that, which will be very useful for you to further make this accurate. For instance, if you say you found pay electricity bill, right? What if
Yes,
someone asks view electricity bill or cancel electricity bill or something like that? You will need logic to find whether to give weightage for pay or to electricity.
yes,
There might be cases. Here, there is only one case for electricity paying, right? But when you have multiple actions, there will be requirement for you to give weightage further for the verb or whether for the noun. So in that case, you will be needing the POS tagger library to identify what kind of what POS does the identify tokens are actually, even before discarding them with the bagging of words actually. So that was what I was trying to say. So I wanted to know if you identify. I mean, is there any? Did you come across this, or if not, you could very well explore it. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
okay, sir. I'll see to it.
Yeah. So, did you use any data models for reading this? Any or just
Yes,
these
sir. I use
libraries?
Keras.
Class. Okay. Good.
Actually, yeah, the training of the data is explained in this page.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. So, did you add any training, or is it the performance is the basic training that I mean the training
Basic
that
training, sir. Use the
all
basic.
package? Good.
Since it has only 3 to 4 responses right now, I use basic trains.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, did you try trying it with some other model, or I mean, not actually try, but did you check how to train this with other models or something like that? Did you Google something related to that?
No, sir. Right.
Okay. Maybe check that too, because you could take any model that is available in the internet and you can train these POS tagger or tokenizer libraries with any custom model that you have. So this we can combine 2 models and give in order to increase the efficiency. So that is another tip I wanted to give. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay.
Hey,
Another quick question, Padmanabhan
go ahead,
here.
Badhu. Go ahead. I'll come back. Yeah.
So basically, so I like the whole idea, trying to help locally. So is your location fixed to Turin? Is that what your place?
Yes,
Right,
since there is no pre-available APIs, I have to collect all the data manually, sir.
I see. Okay.
There is some APIs, but it is not stable, sir. So it changes time to time. So I'm collecting the data manually. So right now, I did it for my city.
Okay.
And I haven't completed it. I need to collect more data.
That's fine. Okay.
Hey, Arvind, and I'm really astonished with your idea, right? So, any project, bot is not a, it's a general phenomenon, right? But the idea of leveraging the chatbot into the government websites, it makes a difference, right? When you do a project, how impactful to know that to the society is the matters. Awesome idea, man. I'm really impressed. With the third year guy who could talk about a lot of data modeling and all the stuff, amazed. Keep up, man. And there are plenty of API integrations, right? So bot is all about how you want to make our response is more intelligent enough, right? There are too many things that are available in the market, and then freeways, right? So to make our with the artificial help of artificial intelligence, right? So how we could make our bots more intelligent enough to do it, right? When you say when you call it out, electricity, the bot will react to it. What do you want to do with electricity? Whether you want to pay bill or view the bill or cancel the bill or raise the concerns. These are all how you want to make your bot, right? Teach your bot, make her no, more intelligent enough to reciprocate.
Okay, sir.
Awesome, okay, man. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Aravinth. In the interest of time, we'll move on to the next one. We have Sowmiya. Sowmiya, ready?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
go ahead. So Sowmiya is, yeah, she's going to be doing some React related. Again, self-study. She started off with the simple, not simple. She started off with HTML, the regular stack that everyone else was using, but then we encouraged her to start with the React, like MagaVigna was saying initially. Then her next step was to go to React. I had Sowmiya started on React earlier, and on her own, and no mentoring from our side. So she started off with that, and the project that she's going to show is mainly the learning thing. It's not necessarily the 100% completed project, but she learned a lot on her own, how a website works, and what are the things that you need to look for. She did have it all working. Unfortunately, her laptop had a problem last night, and she may not be able to give the working version, but I'm sure she'll be able to talk through all the things that she learned. So go ahead, Sowmiya.
Yes, ma'am. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Not yet. The laptop connecting.
Yes, ma'am. It's connected, and I've shared my screen, but it's not visible on Meet.
Okay. You want to try? You want to go out of the meet and come back again? Yeah, it's up now. Good.
Yes. Good morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Sowmiya, and I'm pursuing third year Computer Science and Business Systems from Sayur Institute of Technology. My project name is MyBlog. I started off, my actual project was based on developing an e-commerce project. I started off with a React Native project, but unfortunately, there was a lot of errors when connecting my mobile with my laptop. There was socket timeout error, so I moved on to React.js. I built basic components in React.js, but when it came to connecting the React.js with the backend, I struggled a lot. So my mentor advised me to finish the simple project using React and backend as a Flask. So I started this project blog. So about this project, it's a technical learning project. The whole objective is to learn about React and apply my Flask knowledge in React.js. In our class, we have done HTML. We have connected backend and front end using HTML and Flask. I have a basic knowledge in Flask, and I wanted to integrate React with Flask. So this project has a good start for me, and I understand the concept of Axios, which is a tool to connect, send HTTP requests from front end to backend and receive data. Then to understand the concept of authorization and authentication. And I have a basic knowledge in MySQL. We have studied in our college, but I haven't done so much with MySQL. So I wanted to familiarize myself with SQL through this project. For this project, I have used these tech stacks. For front end, I have used React.js and Axios to connect front end with the backend. Then React router down for moving from one page to another page. For backend, I've used Flask and Python JSON Web Token for generating token and verifying it. And I've used env for this project. to download packages specific to this project only. And for database, I've used MySQL. And for source control, I used GitHub. And through this project, I have learned so many technical things. Initially, I struggled a lot with setting the React.js on my laptop and setting the backend. I Googled many times and found a lot of articles and studied a lot of articles to connect my front end with backend. Most of them were on iMac and my Mac OS. So it was very difficult for me to implement those steps in Windows. And then I asked help from my friends, and they helped me to set the backend. Then I struggled. Then the next part where I have struggled is authenticating the users. For that, I've Googled and studied a lot of articles, and I can find an article that has React and Flask, because some used only Flask and some used React with the Express. There are a few blogs and videos that has both React and Flask. So what I did was I used an article that has complete backend setup in Flask, and I have used another website that has only focused on React.js. So I combined these two articles, and I initially had a lot of errors when then setting these two things up. And finally, I did it. So apart from the technical things, I've learned how to use Google effectively. Before coming to class, I know how to use Google, but through Sayur, I learned which terms to put in the search engine and how to get what I need from Google. Then I understand the art of learning new things, like how to have like the mindset you should have when you are learning new things. Because initially, when I learned new things, the concept was fully different, and I've never learned these things before. What I've learned is when you're trying to learn new things, understand the concept as it is, try it out. When error come up, then Google and find what is the syntax and what is the meaning of those things. Don't question when starting learning new things. First learn, then when error come, then study. That's the thing I learned. And one of the main thing I learned from this project is patience, because I struggle a lot with my laptop. It's a basic laptop, so whenever I refresh my project and send requests to the backend, my laptop stuck in the middle. It freezes, it hangs. But I maintain my patience and moved on with the project. And the next thing I learned is handling errors. Whenever I try to add a new feature, there will be an error waiting in the end. And as MagaVigna said, our ma'am has said, when you're encountering an error, you are not the only one who is encountering it first. So go Google and put the error term, and you will find the solution. And Stack Overflow had a lot of answers for my questions, and I've used videos and GitHub repositories of other developers to help me with handling these errors. And apart from the last thing I learned is reading official documents. When I started learning React.js, I learned it mostly from its official documentation. From that part, I learned how to read documentations, how to understand the concepts, how to understand the new things when you encounter the first time when you're reading documentation. So these are the things I have learned. So since this is a technical project, I focus mainly on the authentication part. So authentication is like when the user signs in, he or she types the username and password. It comes to the backend, and the backend checks whether the user is someone who they say they are. Like it matches the password and username and compares it with the record in the backend. And only if the record matches, it will grant the user the access. Authentication can be of many types. The first type is something which is it can be a password. The password is known only to the user, or it can be a secret question. The answer is known to the user. So the authentication can be from the things or it from an OTP, a message sent to an app or SMS. And the last thing is biometric. When we have a lot of authentication and authorization comes together, so it has similar meaning, but what comes first is the authentication. Only when the user is authenticated, he or she is then checked for the authorization part. So authorization is determining the level of access. Once the user is granted to enter into a website, the authorization part determines the level of access for the user. இப்போ user அப்படின்ற ஒரு ரோல் என்டர் ஆகுறாங்க அப்படின்னா யூசர் நேமும் பாஸ்வேர்டும் டேட்டா பேஸ் போயிட்டு அங்க யூசர் நேம் பாஸ்வேர்ட் மேட்ச் ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா வெப்சைட்குள்ள வந்து அலோவ் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. தென் ஆத்தரைசேஷன் பார்ட் எப்போ வேலை செய்யும் அப்படின்னா இப்போ யூசர் வந்துட்டு ஒரு யூஆர்எல் என்டர் பண்றாங்க. அந்த யூஆர்எல் வந்து ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்லி டெடிகேட்டட் டு த அட்மின் அப்படின்னா அப்போ அந்த ஆத்தரைசேஷன் அப்போதான் ஒர்க் ஆகும். லைக் யூசரோட டோக்கன்ல வந்துட்டு ரோல் இருக்கான்னு பார்க்கணும். ரோல் வந்து அட்மினா இருந்தது அப்படின்னா அந்த அவங்க ரெக்வஸ்ட் பண்ண யூஆர்எல் வந்து கிராண்ட் ஆகி அந்த பேஜ் வந்து ஷோ அப் ஆகும். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா ஆக்சஸ் டெனீட் அப்படின்றது வரும். ஸோ ஆத்தென்டிகேட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் யூசர் வந்துட்டு ஏதாவது ஒரு பேஜை ஆக்சஸ் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்றாங்கன்னா அது ஆக்சஸ் பண்ணலாமா வேணாமா அப்படின்றது பார்க்கறதுக்காக ஆத்தரைசேஷன் வரும். இதுல 2 டைப்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஒன்று வந்து ஆக்சஸ் கண்ட்ரோல் லிஸ்ட் அண்ட் ஆக்சஸ் டு டேட்டா. ஆக்சஸ் கண்ட்ரோல் லிஸ்ட் அப்படின்றது இட்ஸ் ஸ்பெசிபிக் டு யூசர். யூசர் இருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா யூசரோட பேஜ் மட்டும் ஆக்சஸ் பண்ண முடியும். If the user is an admin, he or she can access the admin page. Access to data அப்படின்றது வெப்சைட்ல பப்ளிக்கு ஷோ பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு டேட்டாஸ் இருக்கும், எம்ப்ளாயி மட்டும் பார்க்கறதுக்கு ஒரு டேட்டாஸ் இருக்கும், மேனேஜருக்கு ஒரு டேட்டாஸ் இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் டேட்டா மட்டும் வெப்சைட்ல டிஸ்பிளே ஆகிறதுக்கு நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண மெக்கானிசம் வந்து access to data. ஸோ இப்போ ஒரு ரியல் டைம் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஆத்தென்டிகேஷனுக்கும் ஆத்தரைசேஷனுக்கும் சொல்லணும்னா we are going to friend's house. நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டோர் நாக் பண்ணும்போது ஃப்ரெண்ட் டோர் ஓப்பன் பண்ணி நம்மளை பார்ப்பாங்க. நம்ம ஃப்ரெண்டு அவங்க வந்திருக்கிறது ஃப்ரெண்ட் அப்படின்னு தெரிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் he or she lets them in. ஸோ இது வந்து ஆத்தென்டிகேஷன். வந்திருக்கிறது யாருன்னு தெரிஞ்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் உள்ள வர்ற மாதிரி. உள்ள வந்ததும் இப்போ ஆத்தரைசேஷன் எப்படி ஒர்க் ஆகும் அப்படின்னா ஃப்ரெண்ட் வந்து கிச்சனுக்குள்ள ஹால்குள்ள எல்லாம் போறதுக்கு ஆக்சஸ் இருக்கும். பட் ஃப்ரெண்டோட பிரைவேட் ஆஃபீஸ் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அதுக்குள்ள அலோவ் பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ ஆத்தரைசேஷன் இந்த மாதிரி கிச்சனுக்குள்ள போக முடியும், பட் பிரைவேட் ஆஃபீஸ்க்குள்ள போக முடியாது. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி லெவல் ஆஃப் ஆக்சஸை வந்து மென்ஷன் பண்றது ஆத்தரைசேஷன். தென் யூசர் லாகின் ஆகும்போது அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு டோக்கன் ஜென்ரேட் ஆகுது. அதை ஜென்ரேட் பண்றதுக்கு அல்கோரிதம்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்கு. நான் பார்த்தது இந்த RS-256 அண்ட் HS-256 அல்கோரிதம்ன்றது. இந்த அல்கோரிதம் எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா டோக்கன் ஜென்ரேட் ஆகும்போது அந்த டோக்கன் சைன் பண்ணப்பட்டு ஜென்ரேட் ஆகுது. இந்த அல்கோரிதம் யூஸ் பண்ணி தான் நம்ம அந்த டோக்கனை சைன் பண்ணி டோக்கன் சைன் ஆகி வருது. அந்த சைன் ஆன டோக்கன் வந்து வெரிஃபை பண்றதுக்கு இந்த அல்கோரிதம் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்றோம். RS-256 அண்ட் HS-256 ரெண்டுமே இருக்கு. நான் யூஸ் பண்ணது HS-256. இது ரெண்டுக்கும் என்ன ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டிஃபரன்ஸ் அப்படின்னா RS-256 அப்படின்றது அசிமெட்ரிக். அதுல வந்து பப்ளிக் அண்ட் பிரைவேட் கீ பேர் இருக்கும். இப்போ யூசர் லாகின் ஆகும்போது அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு பிரைவேட் கீ ஒரு பிரைவேட் கீ மூலமா டோக்கன் வந்து ஜென்ரேட் ஆகும். தென் அது சர்வர் சைட் போகும்போது ஒரு பப்ளிக் சர்வர் சைட் பிரைவேட் கீ வந்து ஜென்ரேட் ஆகி டோக்கன் ஜென்ரேட் ஆயிடும். தென் இந்த கிளைண்ட் சைட் வெரிஃபை பண்ணும்போது பப்ளிக் கீ இருக்கும். இது ரெண்டுமே கீ பேரை ஜென்ரேட் ஆகுறதுனால வேற யாராலும் ஆக்சஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. வேற HS-256 வந்துட்டு இது சிமெட்ரிக் ஷேர்டு கீ இருக்கும். அதாவது ஒரே கீழ தான் எல்லா டோக்கனுமே ஷேர் இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி RS-256 எக்ஸ்டர்னலா அதாவது சர்வீஸ் ப்ரொவைடர் இருப்பாங்க, அவங்க தான் நமக்கு கீ பேர் கொடுக்க முடியும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி பாயிண்ட் அவைலபிள் இல்லைன்றதுனால நான் HS2 ஃபிசிக்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஃப்ளோ டயக்ராம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லாகின் ஆகும்போது யூசர் நேம் அண்ட் பாஸ்வேர்டு கொடுப்பாங்க. தென் ஆத்தென்டிகேஷன் ஆகுதான்னு பார்க்கணும். ஆத்தென்டிகேஷன் ஆகி அந்த எஸ்ஸாக இருந்தது அப்படின்னா டோக்கன் கிரியேட் ஆகும். நோவாக இருந்ததுன்னா மறுபடியும் யூசர் நேம் அந்த லாகின் பேஜ்க்கு ரீடைரக்ட் ஆயிடும். டோக்கன் கிரியேட் ஆனதுக்கப்புறம் டோக்கன் வேலிடேஷன் நடக்கும். வேலிடேஷன் ஆனதுக்கப்புறம் தான் நம்மளால ஐபிஐ வந்து அக்சஸ் பண்ணுற மாதிரி இருக்கும். Then demo part. For the demo, I'm using Postman. இப்போ URL வந்து URL நான் செட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். யூசர் லாகின் ஆனதுக்கப்புறம் ஆல் போஸ்ட்லாம் பார்க்குற மாதிரி செட் ஆயிருக்கு. பட் நான் இங்கே எந்த ஒரு டோக்கனுமே கொடுக்கல. ஸோ அப்போ நான் சென்ட் ரெக்வஸ்ட் கிளிக் பண்ணும்போது it will give me unauthorized அப்படின்னு வரும். Request send ஆயிட்டு.
Just a reminder that the reason she's doing it all in Postman is because she had issues with the laptop last minute. So she put together the whole thing in the last minute. So it's quite impressive that she was able to work under pressure, last minute pressure like she's working on. So yeah, that's the reason Postman.
Yes, இப்போ request வந்திருக்கு unauthorized. Authentication token is missing. ஸோ லாகின் பண்ணுற டோக்கன் இல்லாமல் யூசர் வந்து ஆல் போஸ்ட் எல்லா போஸ்ட்டும் பார்க்கணும் அப்படின்னு நினச்சாங்கன்னா he or she can't be able to view those posts. ஸோ லாகின் பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ லாகின் பண்ணும்போது யூசர் நேம் அண்ட் பாஸ்வேர்டு கொடுத்துருக்கேன். அண்ட் தென் மெத்தட் போஸ்ட். ஸோ சர்வர் error வந்திருக்கு. நான் அகைன் ரன் பண்ணி பார்க்குறேன்.
We can continue with the code, Sowmiya, if you want. Even if the running takes time, that's okay.
Okay. Again, laptop stuck.
Yeah, I just want to call out something. Soumya is our, really a star student. I know with all the technical challenges, and you can also see the bandwidth issues she's having, right? So I really commend her with all the technical issues. She has learned a lot. I just want to make sure, we take that, since we have been watching her grow all through this, just want to highlight that.
Yeah, I completely with you, Anu. Even the corporate world, in terms, the solving or problem handling or debugging is something in front of seniors. It's not an easy job, right? So, and the other two from a third-year girl is doing it. Really hats off to her. And she talks about a lot on the authentication on authorizations. And I just wanted to post a couple of questions to her. And so okay, let me take it in the vernacular language. Soumya, no, நீங்க வந்து இப்போ you're talking about lot இல்ல, so இந்த application authentication and authorizations, right? So நீங்க இந்த ஒரு applications வந்து host பண்றீங்க, right? So we are hosting it in the intranet or internet, right? Then cyber security, cyber attack is the biggest threat, not only to the corporate. எல்லா லெவல்லையுமே இப்போ வந்து cyber attacks இருக்கு. So இந்த algorithmsலாம் எப்படிமா இது protect பண்ணும் from the cyber attacks? Because it's a common threat to anybody, right? So not only the corporate, even individuals are, information's identity threat is the biggest, challenge for the IT industry across the globe. இல்ல இப்ப இந்த சைபர் அட்டாக்லாம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா இந்த வெப்சைட் எப்படி ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணுவீங்க? நான் இப்படி சப்போஸ் ஒரு ஆக்ட் பண்றோம், யாராவது வந்து உங்க டேட்டாபேஸ் ஸ்டோர் பண்றீங்க, ஸோ அது எப்படி ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணுவீங்க இந்த வெப்சைட்டை? நீங்க சைபர் செக்யூரிட்டிலாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? சைபர் அட்டாக்ஸ், சைபர்
அதாவது டேட்டாபேஸ்ல இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் எடுக்கிறது அந்த மாதிரி.
ஆமா ஹேக்கர்ஸ் அந்த ஹேக் பண்றது அப்படிலாம் இருந்தா அதை எப்படி ப்ரிவென்ட் பண்ணுவோம்?
சரி, இப்போ யூசர் கிட்ட இருந்து நான் யூசர் நேம் பாஸ்வேர்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணும்போது வாங்கும்போது ஹேஷ் பண்ணி ஸ்டோர் பண்ணிடுறேன் சார் டேட்டாபேஸ்ல. ஸோ வெளியில இருந்து யாராவது ட்ரை பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்னா பாஸ்வேர்டு வந்து டீகோட் பண்றது கஷ்டம். தென் டோக்கன்ல நான் ஜெனரேட் பண்ணும்போது அதுல ஒரு சீக்ரெட் கீ கொடுத்து ஜெனரேட் பண்றதுனால அந்த சீக்ரெட் கீ மத்தவங்களுக்கு தெரியாது.
ஓகே.
ஸோ அந்த டோக்கனை ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்றதும் கஷ்டமா இருக்கும்.
ஓகே. ஸோ என்ன ஹேஷிங் அல்காரிதம் யூஸ் பண்றீங்க?
சார் பாஸ்வேர்டுக்கா சார்?
ஆமா. That's okay, ma. Fun. அது பரவாயில்ல. Super. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just have one comment. Basically, Sowmiya, actually, I can 100% relate to what you're going through today. Literally, I went through the same scenario. One of our exams, I'm supposed to get just 100 out of 100. No doubt, all cleaner for writing a programming. Exactly on the morning of that exam, I had malaria. I went to exam, wrote the pseudo code, almost about to write the code. Then, I got 104 degrees Fahrenheit. I had to exit the classroom. So based on my algorithm and based on what I wrote on the paper, I went through, and of course, I passed the exam based on that score. So the last minute, what I understood from your presentation is you need what you presented, whatever you need to have, like the learner's attitude and how fast you can learn. It's more important because in the current world, knowledge is available everywhere, just like that. Google panna varum, but எது எப்ப படிக்கணும், how fast you should gather, that is very important, and you capture that part. And error handling is very important also. I always insist people can write any code, but are you able to just capture the errors at every point of time? So looks like you have the right attitude of a learner, and So yeah, you should be successful. This is good. Once the technical thing comes up, I'm sure it would be good. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sowmiya, really commendable work actually. So, as far as the work and the presentation is concerned, I think this is the most technical presentation that we have had until now actually. So you have explained a lot of things technically in the presentation, even like right from authorization, authentication. அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது ஆக்சுவலா ஸோ இட்ஸ் குட் தட்ஸ் வாட் ஐ personally was looking at how much you guys have learned technically into while doing all these projects actually. It is so good. I have only one question. In the presentation the things you learned அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு ஸ்லைட் வச்சிருந்தீங்க இல்லையா? I was really impressed by that slide actually. So அது அது அந்த அந்த ஸ்லைட் உங்க ஐடியாவா இல்ல யாரும் உங்களுக்கு சஜஸ்ட் பண்ணாங்களா? the entire presentation நீங்க ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணீங்களா இல்ல or you had your help from your mentors, input from your mentor and all?
இந்த கண்டென்ட்லாம் இருக்கலாம்னு சொன்னாங்க சார். கண்டென்ட் நாங்கள
Okay. Very good. Really impressive. Like அதாவது நீங்க உண்மையிலே அந்த லேர்னிங் டு கூகுள் அப்படிங்கறதெல்லாம் நீங்க சொன்னப்போ ஐ குட் ஆக்சுவலி ரிலேட் ஆக்சுவலி. ஏன்னா நான் ஐ பாஸ் அவுட் பி அண்ட் ஐ ஜாயின் இன் அ கம்பெனி. I actually thought I know what Google was and I know what Googling means actually until I went into a software company and joined. I hope other seniors in this room cannot relate to this, maybe because அவங்கெல்லாம் கரியர் இன்டர்நெட்டுக்கு முன்னாடியே ஆரம்பிச்சவங்களா இருப்பாங்க மோஸ்ட்லி. ஸோ இங்க இன்டர்நெட் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் கரியர் ஆரம்பிச்ச எங்களுக்கு தான் we thought everything until we joined the industry அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரிதான் இருந்தது. அதாவது தட் இஸ் அபவுட் ப்ரோக்ராமிங் அதெல்லாம் பரவாயில்ல. ஆனா எனக்கு கூகுளே பண்ண தெரியாதுங்கிறது எனக்கு வேலைக்கு சேர்ந்து 1.5 மாசம் கழிச்சுதான் எனக்கு புரிஞ்சுது அப்படிங்கறதுதான் I wanted to share here. Yeah, the commendable work, Sowmiya. Very good.
Thank you.
So yeah, our goal at Sayur is to teach the students to learn on their own, not necessarily teach them, things. So and the Sowmiya is a perfect, not just Sowmiya, all of them are perfect. On that they learned how to do things instead of spoon feeding. That was our goal, and I think we have ourselves that we met our goal.
Yeah, I think Vijay, you said the right thing. How to Google-ன்றதே ஒரு கோர்ஸ் பண்ணலாம். ஏன்னா we are all seniors to you. We come from a different generation, pre-Google, pre-Yahoo, everything, right? So even today, sometimes when I have to search something, என் கிட்ஸோட நான் ஃபாஸ்டா கண்டுபிடிப்பேன் கூகுள்ல. அது எப்படி உனக்கு வருது ரிசல்ட் அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க. It can be anything, right? It's an art. Google searching is an art.
Exactly,
So I think we give the pointers, as Chitra said. We tell them what is real world, how do you navigate through this, and they've picked up on all of those, and all these are hardworking students who want to do something in their life, right? They want to advance, they want to improve their life. So you can see the dedication, and you can also see the confidence and the hard work they put in everything. So kudos to all the students. Really great job today.
Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on. It's again getting late on our time. Bavatharani, let's go. Thank you, Sowmiya. It went well. Yeah, we'll talk later. Yeah. Bavatharani.
Yes, ma'am.
So the next two students that are coming, Bavatharani and Kathiresh, they are graduated already in the workforce. In spite of having sometimes 10, 11, 12-hour work day, they come to class. They learned, they did this project. So it's another level of students. When we talk about dedication, this is another level. So yeah, I think their work will also say what they've learned. So it's good to see. Yeah, go ahead, Bavatharani.
Hello everyone, I'm Bavatharani. I'm from Aravinth. I have completed my graduation in Government Engineering College, Erode. I'm a 2021 passed out graduate. Now I'm working as a software engineer in Business Services Private Limited, Chennai. Here I'm going to present you my project, which is a hospital management system. It's a web application. In this project, I'm going to assign shift timings to each and every doctors and nurses. And in this project, I'm going to show the doctors and nurses activity details. Uh, uh, the details contains the which patient they attended and how long they attended, like that. And after that, I will calculate the working hours of the doctors and nurses. Uh, uh, by setting a specific time limit, I will separate who are all overworked doctors or nurses and who are all underworked doctors and nurses. These are the things that I done in my project. Next is my research process. Before started to doing this project, I spoke with some nurses and doctors to get a better idea about the hospitals and their working culture. So I spoke with some nurses, and after that, and this is my very first project. I'm developing solely this whole project, so I don't know how to start. And so I visited some hospitals website to get idea about the front end UI. So I visited some hospital pages, and I got some idea. Then technologies and tools. In this project, I'm using MySQL database to store my data. Here in my project, I have created store procedures to insert a new record, and I worked with joins to combine 3 to 4 tables, and I wrote some dynamic queries to filter or sort the records. Then for server side, I'm using Python Flask web framework. For a client side, I'm using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. All these things are using for front end development. Next, the tools. I write my queries by using Visual Studio Code, and I learned more about Visual Studio Code by using this project. And to create my database and to create tables, to create stored procedures, I have used MySQL Workbench. Then GitHub. In my GitHub account, I have created separate repository for this project. And in that repository, I have updated all my queries, each and every line of queries into that repository as a separate files. So I learned how to use GitHub. Then my learnings from this project, I learned a lot. So many things I learned. First one is debugging skill. If I sometimes I got some error from server side or client side, but I don't know where it is from. But I don't know what the error is. So I learned how to debug, how to put a breakpoint, and how to debug in Visual Studio Code and Chrome Developer Tools line by line. I debugged and found the errors. Then represent and manipulate the JQ grid. In my project, I'm showing my outputs in the table format. For that purpose, I'm using JQ grid, and so I learned what is JQ grid, how it works. Those things are I learned. Then I learned how to embed API into my web page. So in my project, I wanted to know the location details of my hospital to the user. So I embedded a Google Map API into this web page. Next one is filtering records using dynamic queries. Dynamic queries, in this part I faced with many struggles, and then my mentor helped me to solve this error. I learned how to write dynamic queries in queries to sorting the records. Then I have created some stored procedures, and I don't know how to execute stored procedure by using Python. This is also a new thing I learned by doing this project. Then error handling. If the in my project, if the user if the user forgot to give values to the not null to the required fields, then the system will indicate some error. For that purpose, I am using Sweet Alert JS library function. These are all the things I learned in this project. Next is This is the simplest screenshot of my database. These these are the tables and these are the stored procedures are and used in my project. It's all about my presentation. Now I will show my demo. Okay. This is my front page of my hospital management system. In this home tab, I have created 3 logins for admin staffs and nurses and doctors. In this contact tab, I have here the contact information of my RK hospitals are available. If the user want to see the location of the hospital, then they can click this link. Then Google Map will be opened. Then for now, I gave the hospital address, which is in my hometown. Okay. For this purpose, I used the iframe HTML tag. Then about us page, here are the mission and vision of my hospital and founder details, trustee details are available here. Then services tab, I listed some services, which services are available in our hospital. Okay, now I log in as admin. In this page, if the user enter some spelling mistakes or anything else, the system should indicate the error. So if the click login page, it says incorrect username or password. For this error messages, I use the suite alert JS library function. Login. First, I will go with summary. In the summary page, admin can see the whole doctors and nurses activity details for a given date range, and they can. Here I have created 6 report types. First one is doctor details. I will give November month because I set data for this month. Okay. If I click search button, it will give all the all doctors activity details details in this page. Not only this page, I will try to in all pages I will try to include some paging concept here. I try to show 10 or 20 pages, 20 records per page, but for time being I can't able to do that. So for now, it's showing all records in one page. So in future, I will solve this. If the admin want to see the specific doctor details, then they can select the doctor and search. Then it will show the that doctor details only, which patient they attended or not, and how long they attended. All these informations are available here. Likewise for nurse details also. Here are the all the nurse informations are available. If I want to see the specific nurse details, I select nurse name. To filter these records, I unused dynamic queries. Next is overworked doctor and underworked doctor. First overworked. In my hospital, each and every doctor should work 240 minutes per day. So I'm set data for November 1 to November 10. So they should work 2,400 minutes. The people who are all worked more than 2,400 minutes, they are considered as overworked doctor, and who are all worked less than that minute, they are considered as underworked doctor. In for this month, these 2 doctors are worked very less than me, and these doctors are worked more, working more. And similarly for nurses, these tools are underworked nurse and these tools are overworked nurse. It's all about a summary page. Then extended. I selected doctors. In this page, the admin can assign shift timings to each doctors and patients. Here I listed some patients. These patients are already admitted in the hospital for a long time or booked the appointment previously. I'm not considered current outpatients here. So admin can select a doctor and select which shift they are going to work and for a particular date. If I didn't give values to all this record field, I select a button. It says error message and it gives an error to the user. So I will select a day shift for Aquila and I will assign shift for next month, February month, and she's going to attend on Geeta. And save it. It's added successfully. If they want to see this record, I have search option. The record will be shown here. Similarly, in nurse page, admin can assign shifts. I'm not assigning patients to the nurses because if the heart patients, for heart patients, cardiologists are needed. For pregnant ladies, gynecologists needed. So, but in case of nurse, they are general. Say they attend every patient. So I will assign only shift for nurses, and I select morning and night shift for February. It will assign this successfully. These are all the activities admin can do in my project. Next, I log in as a nurse. In this page, I click the shift details. Here, nurse Vani can see their shift details, at which date, at what shift she has. Here I populate the nurse name. In here, I use the local storage concept. While logging in, I store that username and user ID in local store by using local storage set item method to display that name in another page. I use the get item method. So I use the local storage concept here. Next turn is if she wanted to see the particular date, then I will select February. It should. Then my activity. Here, at the end of the day, she should upload her activity in this page. For example, she attended Ramesh for 20 minutes. I will click save. It doesn't. Likewise, how many patients she attended, she can add it here. Next, I will log in as a doctor. Akila. Doctor page also, they can see their shift details and they can upload their activity at the end of the day. For doctors, okay. For Akila, February 1, she didn't attend this patient Geeta, so this flag value is still in no. Now, after after attending the patient, this flag value becomes yes. While clicking the save button, I handled the two operations in one click. Here, the assigned patients only listed for this doctor. And yes, just another 15 minutes. If I click save, and I will search here, it becomes yes. Okay. If they want to see their activity, previous day's activity, then select that date, and they can see their previous day's activity. If they tried to add activity for future days unknowingly, then it will say some error message. Shift not assigned for this date. So I'm handled some errors in my project. It's all about my hospital management system. It's all done. Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Bavatharani. Like I said, Bavatharani is a working person also. With that, she was able to. I think she had a little bit exposure to databases, but after coming here, attending, learning with us, she's picked up on web programming, more on databases. I think her application is database heavy, so that's something she's learned. And again, she worked outside her work hours on this, and I see a lot more improvement than what I saw yesterday. So they've been working every day until this project. So
that is an extra commitment, right? To continue learning after you've got a job, because many people are like, I've got the job, I'm done, no more learning. Because I remember I don't know which exam I wrote. I said, this is the last exam of my life. So, it's really nice to see that kids are learning. So, Bavatharani, how long did you take to do this, build this application?
For 1 month, 1 month, 1 month or 1.5.
And why this particular app? Do you feel that there is a need for this in the market?
I already have some knowledge about this management systems. So in our classes, we often spoke with Chitra ma'am. Oftenly gave some homeworks related COVID data, hospital related things. So I thought we will do this hospital related project.
Okay. So I can see there is, you've thought of quite a few things, and you've applied a little bit of, trying to do a couple of operations in one click, and things like that. You've done a lot. Just one silly question. So you have this 2,400 minutes in a week, right? That a person, a doctor or a nurse works. Yes. Have you considered holidays, like in case this Wednesday was a holiday?
I will provide 2 days holidays for everyone. If who takes more than 2 days, they are considered as under doctors or nurses.
Not my question. You are a very strict person, actually. The question was, there's a public holiday like New Year, or I know Pongal is falling on a weekend, but in case Pongal is on a weekday, right? At that time, if a person takes off because it's a public holiday, are you giving room for deducting the 480 minutes per day?
For now, I didn't consider that things.
Okay. All right. And also, you from switching from one patient to the other, right? Say you're looking at one patient for 20 minutes and then switching to the next patient, you will have some overlap, no? Walking from one place to another, so 5 minutes or something like that. So in your system, I feel everybody will be underworked. So you're a very strict person. But anyway, I get the concept. So yes, doing this outside of your work, committing yourself to come to the lessons, that is great. Good job.
Thank
And
you.
Ashwin, I was going to say patients and hospitals don't have holidays.
Doctor said.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. Any other comments?
Yeah. Bavatharani, I have only one question regarding the report. So, what query are you actually running to find the underused and overused doctors and nurses actually?
What query means?
Yes, I mean, how are you storing? Are you storing everything in a all patient and patient engagements in the table, and then what is that? How are you constructing that underused and overused? Are you storing how many hours a doctor has attended in a
Yeah.
separate
Yes, sir.
table, or are you taking it from the same table? Yeah, that's my question.
Yes, sir. I'm storing those information in a separate table, and to get the that duration,
Your workbench, right? Do you want to quickly show your workbench?
yes, ma'am. Okay. I have used the cell query and
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So I was looking for if to know if you were using group by or some aggregate queries
group
and
by
all.
and
Yeah.
having class are used in the class.
Good, 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 good.
So one of the
Good.
things we did in the class is have her teach the class
Uh-huh.
about stroke
I
Yeah.
teach how to create stock procedures in my Scholar bench and how to create views and how to call it from Python. All these things I teach to my
Great, great, great.
friends.
She learned it on her
Excellent.
own. Yeah, we
So
assigned
good.
the task
Yeah.
to her.
Okay, okay.
She
Okay.
learned it.
So you learned this outside your work, or is this a part of your job specific SQL?
Procedures I learned from my work, and I don't know how to create views. All these things are I learned
Okay, okay, okay.
from Google.
Good, 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 good. So good to know. Very
So,
impressive, Bavatharani. Yeah.
all right. Yeah. Thanks for that, Annie.
Thank
Um,
you.
I have one quick comment. So basically, the very attitude you're ready to work beyond your hours is necessary for the industry rather than sticking to hours. So now you finish your regular office works wherever you're working and still ready to learn and progress. There is a very important attitude needed for the industry where people don't restrict themselves to a specific hours. So that's good that you're able to do a project in less than 4 or 5 weeks and a working copy of it. That's good. It's really the demo is working.
And I
That's good.
want to and I plan to be a mentor in Sayur learning, and I want to be a volunteer in Sayur learning.
yeah, that's also there. All these students are coming back as volunteers for our next batch, where we have 37 students as of yesterday's count. So thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, we'll move on because of the time. It's already running really late. Kathiresh, can you get ready? Kathiresh is again another student. While he's getting ready, I quickly want to introduce Vethabalan, another student we have. Vethabalan, say hello to the team here.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Vethabalan வந்து one of our students, mechanical engineering final year student, great student with the mechanical engineering. Like he's done some projects which has got government funding எல்லாம் பண்ணி. He's interested in Python, so that's why he was working more on Python and not on the web development. That's why he's not showcasing anything today. But he learned Python. We taught them the basic, but he, based on the homework that we gave, he himself went on and learned some new modules, packages, Python pandas and NumPy and things like that. Another dedicated student, growing really well with us and currently in the market for a job. And he's attending interviews now. And that's the reason he didn't do any projects or any web-based project to showcase today. But doing a great job at Sayur and in learning. So I just want to showcase him as well. Is there anything you want to talk about available? என்ன சொல்லணும் சொல்லுங்க.
Yes, hi all, good morning all and good evening. I'm Vethabalan and I'm from Aravinth. I'm doing my mechanical engineering 4th year in Sayur Institute of Technology, and I have done a hydraulic press to produce composite materials that we are using to create a bone implant. So that project I do, and government funding project we are working on a foldable helmet to based on safety and transportation. I do these two projects, and that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Okay, we'll move on to Kathiresh, the last one.
Yes.
Great. Also, again, I have to commend him. Again, he works full time and more, long hours at work. But even though he has long hours, he still attends all the classes. He worked on this project, and you'll see. Yeah, you'll see what he has done. He's done a good job too. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening and good morning to everyone. I'm Kathiresh. I'm from Tirupur. Now I'm working in a Coimbatore in an organization with online education platform as a front-end developer. Before getting to the presentation, I want to give a short intro about myself. Basically, I'm a hardcore mechanical engineer. The reason for the hardcore is I'm completed my diploma in 2019 after my 10th class, and after that I joined my bachelor's in mechanical engineering in KPI Institute of Engineering Technology. When I get into the placement in my bachelor's, I used to know about what's programming. I thought that I know about the programming. Before that, I didn't even know what is programming and what are the types of programming languages that it has. So with the pressure of the college, I mugged up some few codes and I get placed in the organization that I work now. So I have 8 months of intern experience, and I now work and I'm working now as a front-end developer. In that intern time, I didn't have a huge confidence in my career because everything is going down and doesn't make myself confidence in programming. At that time, I used to get the chance to join Sayur with the help of my close friend Emma. So thanks to her. And after I joined Sayur, what are the I learned in techs, that's apart, but my self-confidence is more increased. So for that, I thank to Chitra ma'am. So thank you, ma'am. And now I'm going to present my presentation. My presentation is my project is about making train and flight tickets. My project name is Payanam. In MyPayanam, it's an train and web application that users can get tickets for train and flights. While sign up as a new user, users can get 1,000 coins freely. Through that, they can get their tickets. MyPayanam is a new world for the travelers to travel along the world, and it's also helpful for the working men and college students and senior citizens to get some passes for travel wherever they want to go. And it's also gives some offers for the common peoples in festivals and long holidays. In the meantime, in current time in Pongal and Diwali days, there are a lot of people from working women and all other students are in hostel. They are suffered to back to the hometown with For the reason MyPayanam is helpful for them to get the tickets. For MyPayanam, I didn't have a huge research like that because it's already is working as an IRCTC and other ticket booking apps. So I didn't do any researches. For this, I used a client side for React.js and server side for Python Flask, and I used database for MySQL. The issue that I have faced is initially ma'am suggests me to use a web API to fetch the data. Unfortunately, it doesn't work well. It's the server's down and the data is not coming correctly every time. So, and I switched to Python to create my own database, and I get the data from there. And in Sayur, in this project, I learned error handling and logical thinking. For picking this project, the main reason is logical thinking. In the initial stage, in the initial of the class, ma'am gives homework regarding train and flight tickets. That's the main motive for me to get this project to get done. And before Sayur, I'm working as a front end. I get panicked when the error comes, gives 500 or 414. So after doing this project, I get the guts to face an issue that's really helpful after beyond this project. And while working on this project, as everyone said that there isn't any issue, I get Google and I found where I have to search for it, and I get to find what is an issue for that. And for after learning Python, I never think that I was doing some backend stuff. So after I did that, it's been a great motivation for me to learn some new technologies. So let me get into my demo. So this is my project's landing page. This is a train part, and this is a flight part that I doesn't do yet. It has yet to come. Currently, I did only for the train part. This is the login page. This is the front page, landing page. As of now, I doesn't have data for Chennai to Coimbatore train. So for this, while I getting to the search of my Chennai to Coimbatore train, it doesn't have. So I give some request of train, so the users can give some users. I don't know, it doesn't work. Sorry, it's have to get back to the login page. I don't think why it's not working. Please give me a minute. So I choose Coimbatore to Chennai. I have data for this. So I get the train that running from Coimbatore to Chennai. When I not log in as a user, when I click the book ticket, it redirects me to the login page. So I logging in. For now, I have a few tabs before that, like request trains and like request flights. I'm gonna say briefly about this after I've explained a few things about this stuff. With this, when I click the ticket and give user 10 and username and user's age and user's gender and the compartment they like to travel and the birth, this is allowed to add 6 passengers up to, and we can remove whatever we want. And user 11, user's allowing age is 66, gender is male, easy, general class, so birth, middle. For this, I give to proceed. It shows me a table that of the rate of the tickets. For this, for the first user, his age is 21, and he chose AC compartment. For this, in my Payanam, the AC compartment tickets has a full-fledged of it has 220, and he's an adult. He's not a children or senior citizen. And for user 11, his age is 66, and he's selected as general compartment. And because of his age and general compartment, I reduced some amounts of as an offer for him to travel there he want to. And for here I clicked, and here sorry, and here I like to, if I want to add a passenger, I like to add user 12, age 6, she is a children. So for this I also she's a children, so he's also get the 50% off of the train ticket. For this book, I give the book tickets. The ticket has been booked. I doesn't complete the full-fledged the flow for this. This is the passenger side for this, and for that I clicked into the home page. It's redirected me to the home page. Now this is my profile. These are all the data that the user has been booked for the train for the past. Now I'm logging as an admin. Now it's admin. So we can see what are the requests of trains that we have to, what the requests from the users. And these are the requested trains that users are requested to give some trains for the flow. And the admin can add the train here. For now, there are requests for Tirupur to Coimbatore train. So I give the train to Tirupur to Coimbatore. Available days of the train should be picked here. And the time, because of the background, it doesn't swing well. The train time is 10:50 a.m. and it's been Coimbatore for 12 o'clock. And the ticket rate is 35 rupees for the general class. And I submitted in. Now I can see the trains for Tirupur and Coimbatore here. Sorry, something. I sign in as a user now. So I don't know what's gonna happen here. So if the train doesn't have, I give a request for the admin team to give a train for this. After I submit, the request has been sent. Here we can see the request for Tirupur, Coimbatore, and the request count. And with the help of the count, increase of the count, the admin choose to give a train for that. இப்போ வந்து ஒரு யூசர் வந்து ஒரு ஊர்லேருந்து இன்னொரு ஊருக்கு ட்ரெயின் ரெக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா அவங்களோட யூசர் அவங்களோட கவுண்ட்ஸ் மட்டும் இங்கே இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிட்டே இருக்கும். அந்த ஃப்ரம் ஸ்டேஷன் டெஸ்டினேஷனும் ஈக்குவலாக இருந்துச்சுன்னா இன்னொரு டேட்டாவாக வராது. இப்போ வந்து நான் அட்மினாக இருக்கிறதுனால எனக்கு வந்து திருப்பூர்லேருந்து கோயம்புத்தூருக்கு தான் நிறைய ரெக்வெஸ்ட் இருக்குன்னு தெரிஞ்சதுக்கப்புறம் நான் திருப்பூர்லேருந்து கோயம்புத்தூருக்கு ட்ரெயின் கொடுக்க முடியும்னால அது தெரியல.
It's okay. So where is the picture Katnama? Or you want to talk about the technologies you used? You used a lot of packages.
Yes, ma'am. One second. Through this, I can book my tickets. Now I'm an admin user. So through this, I can book my tickets. இங்கே வந்து நான் அந்த ட்ரெயின் டிக்கெட் நான் புக் பண்ணிக்கலாம். இங்கே நான் ஃபார்ம் வேலிடேஷன்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஸோ இங்கே ரெக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறதை வந்து அந்த அட்மின் வந்து அந்த அட்மினோட டேட்டாக்கு வந்து அட்மினோட பேஜில் வந்து ரெக்வெஸ்டட் ட்ரெயின்ஸ்னு நான் ஒரு மெனு டேப் வச்சுருக்கேன். அந்த டேப்பில் வந்து எந்தெந்த யூசர்ன்ற இல்லை எந்தெந்த ஊருக்கு ட்ரெயின்ஸ் ரெக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்கிறத அங்கே பார்த்துட்டு மெஜாரிட்டி ஆஃப் த ரெக்வெஸ்ட் அதிகமாக வந்திருக்க ஊருக்கு மட்டும் ட்ரெயின் வந்து ஆட் பண்ணுற மாதிரி அட்மின் பண்ணுற மாதிரி பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஸோ இப்போதைக்கு நான் ட்ரெயினுக்கு மட்டும்தான் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். சாப்பிடும் ஃப்ளைட்டுக்கு வந்து இன்ட்டு பண்ணணும். ஸோ இதுக்கு வந்து நான் என்னென்ன யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன்னா ரியாக்ட் தான் நான் ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்டில் நான் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறதுனால நான் ரியாக்ட் யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பித்தேன். மேம் நான் ஏபிஐ யூஸ் பண்ண சொன்னாங்க. ஸோ அதில் டேட்டாஸ் கரெக்டாக ஆகாததுனால நானே பைத்தானும் டேட்டா பேஸ் நானே கிரியேட் பண்ணி நான் அதுலேருந்து டேட்டா எடுத்துக்கிட்டேன். ரியாக்ட் டேஸில் வந்து நான் நிறையா என்பிஎம்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். சிமாண்டிக் QI வந்து CSS லைப்ரரிக்காக யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். எப்போ வந்து ஃபார்ம் வேலிடேஷன்ஸ்க்கு யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அண்ட் டான் ஒரு நோட் பேக்கேஜ் மேனேஜர் வந்து நான் பேஜ் ரீடைரக்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். MD5ன்ற NPM வந்து நான் பாஸ்வேர்டை என்கிரிப்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அண்ட் ஃபார்ம்ஸ் எல்லாமே ஃபார்ம் ஐக்கியில் கிரியேட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அண்ட் வித் ஆக்சியோஸ் வந்து நான் பேக் எண்டையும் ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்டையும் கனெக்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக ஆக்சியோஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். ஆக்சியோஸ் வந்து எனக்கு அஜாக்ஸோட ரோல் இந்த ப்ராஜெக்டில் பண்ணுது. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் மை ப்ராஜெக்ட்.
Very good.
Well done, Kathiresh. Again, the same thing applies, right? For Bavatharani சொன்ன மாதிரி உங்களுக்கும் it's not easy doing a job and committing yourself for this. You're learning and you're presenting and you've built up, an application and you have ideas. I'm going to do this for the train, but plane ku pannano idu. This is not easy. So good job. Keep it up. And technical வந்து ஒரு சின்ன பார்ட் தான். ஒரு ஜாப் கிடைக்கணும்னா knowing the technical side is a small part, because what you learn and what type of job you get are two different things. Very rarely people get what they learned, right? So if you have the basic sense and the basic knowledge how to address a problem, understand a problem and address a problem. If you have that attitude, you will get a job. What Chitra here is trying to do is making sure that these kids are getting ready for the job market. That is the uniqueness which I really admire, and I can now see that all the kids have that. You're ready for the job market. You're presenting. You're staying late at night on a Sunday. That kind of commitment. You're not getting too worked up and stressed when you encounter a problem. So all these things are the stuff that recruiters see. So hats off to Chitra, firstly, to get these kids ready for the job market. So good luck. And Kathiresh, well done. Good job.
Thank you.
Kathiresh, I wanted to ask, have you used any specific libraries for front end? இங்க நான் டேட் பிக்கர் காம்பனன்ட்லாம் பார்த்தேன் ஆக்சுவலா. ஸோ அந்த இடத்துல கிளிக் பண்றப்போ, ஸோ அதெல்லாம் நீங்களே டெவலப் பண்ணீங்களா, ஆர் யூ யூஸ் எனி தேர்ட் பார்ட்டி ஓப்பன் சோர்ஸ் லைப்ரரிஸ் ஃபார் தட், இந்த டேட் பிக்கர்லாம்?
சார் அதுக்கு ஒரு பேக்கேஜ் மேனேஜர் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் சார், ரியாக்ட்ல. டேட் பிக்கர்லேயே ஒரு
வெரி குட், வெரி குட், வெரி குட். பிகாஸ் உங்களோட என்டையர் சைட் வந்து இட் லுக்ஸ் வெரி ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ஆக்சுவலி. அந்த டேட் பிக்கர் அந்த காம்பனன்ட்ஸ்லாம் வந்து நாட் ஜஸ்ட் டைப்பிங் அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இல்லாமல் லாட் ஆஃப் ஃப்ரண்ட் அண்ட் காம்பனன்ட்ஸ் ஆர் ரியலி ப்ரொஃபஷனல். ஸோ ஐ வாண்டட் டு நோ. ஸோ ரைட், அதாவது இப்போ நம்ம புதுசாக ஏதாவது பண்ணணும்னா we could just check whether what open source packages are available instead of building everything from scratch actually. So that was a good inclusion in your project actually, I have to say. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
So I have only one comment. Basically, even people from other disciplines, right, non-computer science, typically, they start learning coding and do computer science related works. So they actually do a favor to their own original industry and improve better, right? So we are here to service every level of industry. So it's good that all other industry people, either mechanic or civil, doesn't matter, if they learn some level of coding and start helping their own industry, the quality of life improves better.
True.
That's it.
Yeah.
So all the best to Kathiresh. Not giving up attitude, that matters a lot. Yeah, way to go, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I think that is true. Sadesh. Kathiresh is definitely someone that is trying to improve every day. Like I said, work long hours work panniyum, he shows that the passion to come and learn more. So that's a very impressive thing. That's an important skill too, right? For him.
Absolutely. I could see that he has not given up. I think a lot of romance. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So we are way over time. So sorry about that. We tried to do it. I had assigned certain time for each student, but all the discussions, it's gone a little late. Thank you, students. You all did a great job. I'm very proud of you. I was very proud of you yesterday when you showed me, but today you exceeded my expectation. And I'm sure I'm talking for all the mentors here. You exceeded all our expectations in today's presentation. So great job, everyone. I also would like to thank all our guests and coming here. And I think it also seeing people from the industry come and attend their presentation, that helps them. They know that the value of the learning, and it helps them with the confidence. And hopefully, when they start looking for future jobs, all these connections help. So thank you everybody for taking your Sunday evening to come and to give advice to our students. So thanks a lot. Any last words from anybody? Otherwise, we'll end. I don't want to keep you all.
Yeah, I would like to say,
Yes.
Chitra, if not for you, this wouldn't be here.
No.
So
It's a good initiative.
All our support for you. And for the students, next idea is an application for Sayur.
Yes. So the way they're doing is they're volunteering for the next batch, which we have, like I said, the first batch was 15, next batch is 37. So we would definitely need more mentors and more volunteers, and the students have stepped up to volunteer. So that is a great help. And eventually, yes, I do have plans to develop applications that will go into the market, and I am planning on tapping into their talent. So yeah, that is going to happen someday soon. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah,
Sudha.
thanks, Udesh, for coming.
Yeah.
Good. Happy Pongal to all. That's bye.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And we'll end here.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
So it was a good one, Chitra.
Yeah, oh yes. I'm very proud of the students. Let me just stop the recording.